Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein after Congress approved the release of more information. Joining us now, criminal defense attorney Joseph Tully. Joseph, what changed here? Because this wasn't the first time that these records were asked to be unsealed, and now this federal judge is saying, okay, go ahead and do that.
Well, Marina, thank you for having me. What changed was the passage by Congress to release the Epstein files in November. So the judge had initially denied this back in August, I believe. And in light of this new legislation, the DOJ reapplied. The judge gave them some guidelines. What exactly do you want me to release? And please highlight what needs to be redacted. The DOJ did so. The victims were allowed to support or lend their support to this. They did, and the judge acted accordingly and opted to release the files.
All right,
and which includes just the grand jury transcripts.
Okay, so this is grand jury and then also material relevant to her trial?
Yes, correct. It relates to the grand jury proceeding and then also her trial. Interestingly, when the judge denied it back in August, because grand jury materials are presumed to be secret, the judge said, there's nothing here. This reveals nothing. So he opted, when most people would think, well, if there's nothing there, then release it. The judge used that as a reason to deny the release. But now in light of the Congress's Act and the president signing the bill in November, he's releasing the grand jury proceedings and then the criminal case files.
And when the judge was saying there's nothing here, the judge talking about victim information, right?
He was talking about everything. I mean, he was saying that, look, everything that is in here is already in the public. The public already knows it. There's no major revelation. Therefore, I'm not going to release it since there's going to be nothing new, which, again, is kind of counterintuitive because if you think it's no big deal, then release it. But the judge, by law, made that decision.
And was it because standing on the grounds that the grand jury information is secret?
Yes, that was literally it. The grand jury, there's a special federal rule that it's presumed to be secret, and they like to keep things secret, even, decades later, years later. So that's why that was a justification for the judge initially re-releasing it. But for Congress passing this act and President Trump signing it, they'd still be secret.
I mean, I suppose it preserves, intact what is supposed to be a process to indict that is afforded to the defendant and how the government goes about charging a lot of people. But at the same time, we're at this point now at a crux, if you will, a catalyst in our society where we're demanding, and with incredible bipartisan support here from Capitol Hill, to release all documents pertaining to this case. It almost seems counterintuitive, but to your point, now there's a law and the judge had no other way around it but to release it.
Correct. Yes. And, I think it's reassuring that the Congress is listening to the American people, because previously politicians and the judicial system have been fighting tooth and nail to releasing everything, but yet Congress was able to receive the pressure from American citizens, from the public, and the act got passed and it was signed by President Trump. And now, as you said, the judges really have no choice but to release everything. They're still making sure all redactions are happening, which is where you go through and black out certain names or change names from somebody's personal name to, victim 1, victim 2, victim 3, that sort of thing. So privacy rights of victims will be protected. This judge is making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed before releasing things. But the bottom line is the public will get the information.
Yeah, it seems as though at least 150 pages just on the grand jury indictment part. You look at this comprehensively. These are thousands of pages of documents, Joseph. How much more of this trove of information is left to be released? Because therein lies a big question mark as to how much will be released after this past Congress.
So under the act, it was it's everything that is not classified. So unless it has something to do with national security or something has some reason where it should be classified, it must be released. So you would think that that would include the FBI's entire investigation. Mm-hmm. The public won't get a lot of information from grand jury transcripts, right, because grand jury transcripts are like a thumbnail sketch of what the prosecution thinks their case is going to be like at trial. Mm-hmm. It's very vanilla, very bland, very, just a skeleton outline. However, the FBI case investigation, getting those, I think, would actually be what the public wants.
All right, we'll wait and see if and when the DOJ releases that. Joseph, thank you for that. We appreciate it.